Be anybody in the United States that doesn't know, like, and admire Laura Petrie of the Dick Van Dyke Show, otherwise known as the beautiful and talented Mary Tyler Moore. Welcome. Mary Tyler Moore, the world should know that your name is really Mary Tyler Moore Tinker.
Yes, isn't that darling?
It should be Mary Tyler Tinkler Moore.
Yes, or Tinker's Toy.
Oh, dear. Oh, Tinker. Welcome to New York. How do you like it here?
Thank you. Oh, I just hate it.
Are you looking for controversy?
No, well, I have my own ready-made controversy at home. We just moved in, or rather attempted to move into a lovely apartment, what I thought would be a lovely apartment. It turned out that the housekeeper, who had been on salary for 3 months while we were in California, and whose total job it was just to see that things were dusted and the painters got in, vanished the night before we arrived, having done absolutely nothing. And they're all, for the last 3 days, painters and moving men have been bringing me cartons and saying, where should we put this? And I don't have a place to tell them to put it, and it's been really frightening. I went to sit down on a stool today, and the seat broke off, and I ended up sitting on a steel rod, and, oh, well.
That can be touchy.
Yes, it can. Quite painful.
Mary, I don't want to upset you, but the servant problem in New York works precisely this way. Before you move in, you say, I'm coming in 2 weeks. Will you stay here for 2 weeks until my furniture and my family arrive? They always say yes. And then when you move in, they leave.
So it didn't just happen to me.
Oh, no. That's the way that we run the city.
I feel I've been starring in another situation comedy, though, with the way things have been happening. It's really
Listen, I wanted to ask you something. In Newsweek, when they did a piece on you recently, you said that you would have no regrets in leaving Dick Van Dyke Show because you were sort of tired of playing this goody-goody, that you were always ordering milkshakes in public, and now you could have straight scotch.
Oh, goodness. Now, you see, it probably took me 2.5 hours to say that, and they capsulized it down to a point where I sounded really terribly shocking and dismal and kind of bitter about life. I assure you I'm not, and I assure you that I miss every one of the people on the Van Dyke Show desperately. They became my good friends, my only friends, really.
Was that you sort of up there, the sweet, giving, kindly disposition woman, or are you really a wild, mad swinger?
I think I fall somewhere in between. I'm not sure just where, but the disposition was a result of the writing of Carl Reiner, and the attitude was very often my own. I always tried to make the character as close to me and my own reactions as possible, simply because it's easier to sustain a character week after week after week if you do it that way.
Was the wife you played there kind of an idealization of the American wife? There is no such woman. Most of them are wretched nags.
Yes, I think we all have our moments. Some of us have the nagging personality come to the fore more often than others. But Laura Petrie broke down and cried, and she used ploys to get her way, and she was nasty and short-tempered, and she was also sweet and soft, and she was many things.
Oh, no. I think she was sort of a strained idealization of the American woman, as she thinks she is, but it had no connection with reality. I mean, the woman that's talking all the time in a restaurant, I claim that you can walk into an average restaurant, and if you have observed life enough, American female-male relationships, you can look in the restaurant and tell who's married and who's single.
Yeah.
Where the woman is just yakking like crazy and the man has a hurt, bored expression, and he's chomping his food, they're real married.
I know.
And where she's listening and he's just elocutioning and she's just wide-eyed and attentive, they're engaged.
Yes.
Or she hopes to get married.
Yes.
And that whole posture
They're both
changes.
selling.
They're both selling like mad.
Yeah. I think very often when a husband and wife reach that point, it's because they don't have anything to talk about, really, except the surface conversation about, well, what happened with the kids today, and there can only be so many variations on that theme, and what happened at the office. I think a wife needs to have, and oh, gosh, I'll probably get in trouble saying this, but I really do think more wives should investigate the possibilities of working, because I agree with Betty Friedan in her point of view in her book, The Feminine Mystique, that women are, or should be, human beings first, women second, wives and mothers third. It should fall in that order, and that if there's enough thought and effort put into this attempt, that it will not hurt the family, it will not hurt the work, that they can function very nicely together. I'm proving it.
Well, how can a woman be wed to two forces in life? In other words, you're only half married if you're in show business? Because that demands so much of your ego, so much your investment of your energy.
I don't think so. I think I could waste an awful lot more energy sitting at home having nothing to do other than just talk with the girls about what gossip they've heard, or just chase after the kids instead of spending time with my son, because I know we don't have as much time as most parents and children have. I make good use of that time. I don't waste it. I don't nag him. I punish him if he deserves it, or I give him a good lecture, but I don't just sort of spill it. You know, I use it.
Don't you think working mothers, whatever their jobs, sort of shortchange their children emotionally? Or even just physically, they're not there enough of the time. They're not together. They're not relating.
Sometimes it happens, but I don't let it happen that way. I refuse to travel without my son. I refuse to be separated from my husband, and I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky in that I have been able to work out a career and still hold to this belief that I must stay with my husband, I must be with my child, because they happen to be more important to me than my career.
What made you break?
It's not a sacrifice, in other words.
What made you break bonds, living in Hollywood, being in television, to make the big move to New York City and to the Broadway stage?
My husband was offered a position with the company he had been with in California, a better position, which would involve our moving to New York. And we discussed it at some length because both of us are sort of dyed-in-the-wool Californians. We love the backyard life and the sort of barbecuing all weekend long and running around barefoot, and we're not sophisticated New Yorkers by nature. So we resisted it and finally decided that we should make the sacrifice for him. It's important. And something he wanted to do. So we decided to come to New York, and coincidentally, Mr. Merrick, David Merrick's office, got in touch with me and asked me if I would be interested in doing this play. It worked out beautifully. I got very lucky.
You're going to love it here. We have polluted air, hopelessly snarled traffic.
Yes, we have that in California, too.
Race riots in our ghettos.
Yeah.
There's a lot to look forward to. There's something happening here all the time.
We have all of that in California. I guess it's just a matter of feeling strange. I just miss the good old snarled freeways because I knew them very well. And I'll miss being able to drive. I'll miss the privacy of being able to get into my car dressed in leotards with just a coat thrown over my shoulders and go to a ballet class and not have to worry that people are looking at me and my strange outfits. You know, you can't do that in New York. You have to sort of make entrances wherever you go.
You miss television now that you're off some months, not having that thing to look forward to, the show, the new script.
I miss the consistency of that life. It was a very secure feeling for me. I enjoyed knowing that I would go to that same studio every day with those same wonderfully entertaining, good, dear friends and do a show for which I would get a lot of applause at the end. And I do miss that. But I'm so looking forward to the other venture that I don't have to sit and mope about it. I'm not really sad about it.
You are a television star, and your husband is one of the key executives in the television business. Mm. What do you think of television, honestly? Do you watch it a lot? Do you think it's good?
Yes, I do. I think, particularly for what it is, for the amount of hours that it gives you for enjoyment, either in education or for pure entertainment, it's remarkably good.
What do you watch?
People never knock books, do they?
Yes, they do.
Not really. Not on the mass scale that they do television. And they never really criticize magazines and their articles. They never really criticize theater, at least not in the West. They don't.
I'd like to just stop and knock books right here. I think anybody any book list that sits with Valley of the Dolls on top of the list is a sick, silly, stupid book list.
Well, there are a few book readers who may or may not agree with you, but the general public...
What do you watch, Mary? What shows?
That's
interesting. You sure have favorites.
No, I really don't. I watch things like Peyton Place. I think the production values in that show are fantastic. It's like watching a little miniature movie every week.
You have morbid...
Are you laughing at me or with me? I think it's awfully good. And
you have a morbid sexual curiosity. We now are going to sell some very useful happiness-producing products to you. Will you come back with us in a moment?